Picture this. A monstrous alien creature rampages through Rome, battling an elephant at the zoo before making its final stand at the Colosseum. This is 20 million miles to Earth, Ray Harryhausen's 1957 masterpiece. But here's what most fans don't know: the creature was never actually named in the film. The production moved to Rome because Harryhausen wanted a vacation, and that title? Completely meaningless. Today we're diving into 16 bizarre facts about this sci-fi classic that'll change how you watch it forever. From shrimp shell monsters to animator cameos, these secrets have been hiding in plain sight for over 60 years. Number 1. The monster with no name. Let's start with something that'll blow your mind. You know the creature is Ymir, right? Every fan does. Every article, every retrospective, every convention panel calls him Ymir. There's just one tiny problem: that name is never spoken once in the entire film, not a single time. The creature remains nameless throughout the movie, referred to only as the creature or the monster by the characters. The name Ymir came from behind-the-scenes production materials and crew members, eventually leaking into fan circles and becoming official canon decades later. But in 1957, audiences left theaters having watched a film about a monster that technically had no identity. It's like knowing Darth Vader's name without anyone ever saying it on screen. Imagine the confusion at the box office. Yeah, I saw that movie about, the thing from Venus. Number 2. The title is gloriously meaningless. Speaking of confusion, let's talk about that title. 20 million miles to Earth. Sounds epic, right? Sounds scientific. Sounds like someone did the math. Here's the twist: they absolutely did not do the math. 20 million miles has zero basis in actual astronomy. Venus's distance from Earth varies between 25 million and 162 million miles depending on orbital positions. So why 20 million? Because it sounded huge. Because it rolled off the tongue. Because audiences in 1957 weren't going to pull out calculators in the theater. The producers wanted a number that felt impossibly vast and terrifying, something that made you feel the cosmic horror of interplanetary travel. It worked. Nobody questioned it. The film became a classic. And somewhere, an astronomer wept quietly into their telescope. Number 3. From Chicago to Rome because vacation. Here's where things get really weird. This film wasn't always set in Italy. Early drafts had the alien crash landing near Lake Michigan, with Chicago as the backdrop for monster mayhem. Picture the creature climbing the Sears Tower instead of the Colosseum. Very different vibe. So what changed? Ray Harryhausen wanted to go on vacation to Rome. I'm not kidding. The legendary animator had been dreaming of visiting Italy, and when this project came up, he basically said, "You know what would make this better? If we shot it where I want to spend my summer." And because Harryhausen was Harryhausen, the producers actually agreed. The entire production relocated so their animator could sightsee. That's the ultimate work-from-anywhere situation. The film got unforgettable Roman locations, and Harryhausen got gelato between shots. Everyone wins. Number 4. The many names of Ymir. Before settling on 20 million miles to Earth, this film went through more titles than a witness protection candidate. Early development saw it called the giant Ymir, which at least would have given the creature a name in the title. Another version was simply called the Cyclops, which makes zero sense since Ymir has 2 eyes. Clearly, someone in marketing was just throwing darts at a board of scary words. These working titles reveal something fascinating about 1,952nd sci-fi production. Studios were desperate to capture that monster movie magic, trying different combinations of words until something stuck. Giant, beast, Cyclops, space, million, miles. It was like cinematic Mad Libs. Eventually, they landed on a title that sounded both scientific and sensational, even if it meant absolutely nothing. Number 5. Elephant School for Monster Animation. Ray Harryhausen didn't just wing the creature's movements. This man did his homework. He spent days at the zoo studying elephants, watching how they walked, how they shifted their massive weight, how their bodies moved with that slow, heavy grace. He wanted the alien to feel tangible, real, despite being a stop-motion creation from another planet. The result? Ymir moves with this heartbreaking, elephantine sadness. There's weight to every step, vulnerability in every gesture. You can see the pachyderm inspiration in how the creature lumbers around, confused and frightened in a world it never asked to visit. Harryhausen turned biology homework into cinematic gold. As the film itself declares, Great scientific advances are oftentimes sudden accomplished facts, and Harryhausen's attention to detail was exactly that kind of sudden brilliance. Number 6. The elephant gets its revenge. And speaking of elephants, wait until you hear about the zoo scene. In one of the film's most memorable sequences, Ymir fights an elephant at the Rome Zoo. It's monster chaos meets nature documentary. Colonel Calder literally shouts, "Get that elephant out of there," as the two titans clash. But here's the kicker. Harryhausen loved this scene so much, he essentially remade it 12 years later in the Valley of Gwangi, where another of his creatures battles another elephant. Same animator, same fascination with pachyderm peril, different decade. It's like a director making the same film twice because they didn't quite nail it the first time. Or maybe Harryhausen just really wanted to see his monsters fight elephants. Can you blame him? Number 7. The sulfur diet from hell. Let's talk about the weirdest dietary requirement in cinema history. Ymir eats sulfur, not plants, not meat, sulfur. The creature is literally drawn to bags of sulfur like a kid to a candy store. This bizarre detail actually makes perfect sense in the film's internal logic. Venus has massive sulfur content in its atmosphere, so naturally a Venusian life form would need it to survive. But imagine being the screenwriter pitching this. So the monster eats sulfur? Yes. The smelly yellow rock stuff? Exactly. And this makes sense because Venus! It's the kind of delightfully weird world building that makes 1,950 sci-fi special. They weren't afraid to commit to strange ideas. Ymir's sulfur addiction becomes a plot device, a tracking mechanism, and a reminder that this creature is fundamentally alien to Earth. Number 8. Only one star actually went to Rome. Here's a secret the film doesn't want you to know. Despite being set almost entirely in Sicily and Rome, with stunning Italian locations throughout, only one principal cast member actually filmed in Italy. William Hopper, who played Colonel Calder, was the sole main actor to set foot on Italian soil for production. Everyone else? Studio work in California, miniatures, process shots, movie magic. The rest of the cast performed against green screens and rear projections, while Hopper enjoyed authentic Roman backdrops. It's the ultimate movie illusion, a film that feels impossibly Italian, created mostly in Hollywood. This was standard practice for the era, but it still feels cheeky knowing that most of the Rome footage was California, with really good set decoration. Number 9. From egg to kaiju in record time. One of the most overlooked aspects of Ymir's biology is how absurdly fast it grows. The creature emerges from a gelatinous egg the size of a softball, then rapidly explodes into a 20-foot monster within days. The explanation? Earth's atmosphere supercharges its metabolism, causing uncontrolled growth. It's cosmic body horror. Imagine being a space creature, minding your own business, then suddenly your planet's atmosphere turns you into a giant. You didn't ask for this. You just wanted to stay small and manageable. But Earth's oxygen says, nope, you're a kaiju now. This detail adds tragedy to Ymir's rampage. The creature isn't inherently evil, it's literally being transformed against its will by environmental factors. Colonel Calder reflects this when he says, "I guess I frightened it as much as it frightened me. The creature is just as scared as everyone else." Number 10. 400 shots of pure dedication. Stop-motion animation in the 1,950 seconds was brutal work. Every frame required precise positioning, careful lighting, and infinite patience. For 20 million miles to Earth, Harryhausen created over 400 composite shot scenes blending stop-motion creature with live-action footage. 400 shots. Each one required frame-by-frame animation, sometimes moving the puppet mere millimeters between photographs. A few seconds of screen time could take days to complete. This was one of Harryhausen's most complex projects up to that point, pushing the boundaries of what stop-motion could achieve. Modern CGI artists work with undo buttons and digital precision. Harryhausen worked with wire armatures and prayer. The dedication is staggering. Number 11. The Colosseum that never was. The film's climax shows Ymir making his final stand at the Roman Colosseum, one of history's most iconic structures. Soldiers surround the ancient arena. Searchlights pierce the night. The monster climbs the weathered stone, desperate and doomed. Except most of what you're seeing isn't the real Colosseum at all. It's a miniature, a model, a beautifully crafted fake assembled in California by Harryhausen's team. They built a scaled replica of the ancient ruins, then integrated it with actual Italian footage and stop-motion animation. The illusion is seamless. Audiences in 1957 had no idea they were watching a tiny model pretending to be a 2,000-year-old monument. Modern viewers still don't catch it. It's a masterclass in practical effects. When you can make people believe miniatures are massive ancient structures, you're doing something right. Number 12. The Desperate Hunt. Throughout the film, there's this mounting tension captured perfectly in Colonel Calder's line, "We'll find him." We've got to. This isn't just dialogue, it's the emotional core of every monster hunt movie. The desperation, the stakes, the knowing that failure means catastrophe. What makes 20 Million Miles to Earth work isn't just the monster effects, it's the human urgency driving the story. The film understands that audiences need to feel the pressure, the impossible task of tracking a rapidly growing alien through populated areas before it causes more devastation. Modern creature features often forget this emotional foundation, focusing on spectacle over stakes. This 1957 film knew better. Number 13. Hidden in plain sight, Harryhausen's cameo. Alfred Hitchcock loved cameos. Stan Lee turned them into art. But did you know Ray Harryhausen has an uncredited appearance in his own film? During the Rome Zoo sequence, before everything goes sideways with the elephant fight, there's a man feeding peanuts to an elephant. That's Ray Harryhausen, the master of stop motion, casually inserted into his creation, feeding snacks to the same animal that would later inspire his monster's movements. It's poetry. It's meta before meta was a thing. Most viewers have watched this film dozens of times without spotting him. Now you'll never unsee it. You're welcome. Number 14. The color controversy. For decades, 20 Million Miles to Earth existed only in black and white. Then came 2007, when a colorized version was released. Colorization is always controversial. Purists hate it. Casual viewers embrace it. But here's what made this version different. Harryhausen himself supervised the color choices. For the creature, he made a fascinating decision. Early tests had Ymir bright green, the classic 1950 seconds monster color. But Harryhausen rejected it. Too cartoonish, too unrealistic. Instead, he chose muted olive and yellow tones, giving the creature a more organic, reptilian appearance. Even in his 80s, the master animator was refining his vision, proving that great artists never stop perfecting their work. Number 15. The Beast from Space. As if the title confusion wasn't enough, various international releases couldn't decide what to call this thing. Some territories marketed it as The Beast from Space, which is simultaneously more accurate and less catchy than the original title. The Beast from Space is wonderfully pulpy and doesn't promise any specific mileage. But it lacks that pseudo-scientific gravitas of 20 Million Miles to Earth. You can imagine producers in different countries looking at the original title and thinking, "Our audiences won't care about the number. Just call it a beast and move on." They weren't wrong. The film succeeded internationally regardless of what anyone called it. Number 16. The Legacy of Sympathy. Here's the final fact, and it's the most important. 20 Million Miles to Earth didn't just create a monster, it created a sympathetic monster. Ymir isn't evil. It's confused, frightened, reacting to threats in an alien environment. Harryhausen's animation gives the creature personality, vulnerability, even innocence. This approach influenced everything that came after. The tragic dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, the misunderstood Cloverfield monster. Modern cinema's sympathetic kaiju can trace their DNA back to Ymir's sad, elephantine grace. When Colonel Calder says, "If that's an apology, I think it went in the wrong direction," after an awkward exchange with Marisa, it's emblematic of the whole film's approach to misunderstanding and missed connections between people, between species, between worlds. Harryhausen understood something crucial. The best monsters aren't the ones we fear, they're the ones we feel for. 68 years later, 20 Million Miles to Earth remains a masterpiece of practical effects and emotional storytelling. Behind every frame lies Ray Harryhausen's obsessive craftsmanship and a production willing to relocate an entire film for their animator's vacation. If you love discovering these secrets, hit that subscribe button for more classic movie deep dives. What's your favorite Harryhausen creature? Drop it in the comments below.